Did you know that 60% of Canadians know a woman who has experienced physical or sexual abuse? More than 6,000 women and children sleep in shelters on any given night because it isn't safe to be at home. Immigrant women may be more vulnerable to domestic violence due to economic dependence, language barriers, and a lack of knowledge about community resources. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, frontline workers have reported an increase in all types of violence against women and girls, particularly domestic violence, and a disproportionate increase in the number of immigrant women affected. To raise awareness around the issue of gender-based violence and help prevent it from happening now and in the future, we engaged some community members to come up with strategies to take a step forward. Welcome, Mr. Sharma and Ms. Kaur. What do you think are factors that lead to gender-based, family, and domestic violence?
I think substance abuse, financial sovereignty, stress, depression, suppression, male dominancy, ego, culture and values, and the lack of spiritual consciousness can all contribute to domestic violence.
I think there are situations in which women are forced to be subordinate to men in the house, resulting in being financially dependent on them. I think this is something we see in cases involving immigrant women in some cultures. There's like a breadwinner in like a housewife family system where the man provides financial support and the woman owes domestic care.
A quote from the Hindu philosophy states that we are not this body, we are spirit soul, which does not have a gender distinction. Hindu philosophy considers everyone a soul and does not have any gender distinction. If understood well, this gives no special power and privilege to a male in the household.
There's also like a normalization of violence against women, as well as misogyny, which reflects in attitudes. I think in some cultures and patriarchal households, being born as a girl is treated with like a negative connotation. This continues to like reinforce the poor treatment towards women since birth, since they're all treated to just be unwanted. And it's just all of these subtle factors that lead to gender-based violence.
In your opinion, how do gender-based, family, and domestic violence affect family members or victims and survivors?
I think there's a significant impact on the victims' children. So younger children can learn to internalize these behaviors, which lead them to either take part in the same violence or become victims themselves. And so these behaviors in front of children showcase like a false sense of what love is to a child. And this doesn't really help break the cycle of violence.
Family members can experience many factors: depression, lack of confidence, lack of ability to deal with life situations, as a mentally healthy person would be able to do. Also, mental state of mind being weak, developing fear, and showing lack of credibility, lack of trust of future caregivers in the system, lack of support resulting in relapsing into domestic abuse.
In your opinion, what can be an effective way to prevent gender-based, family, and domestic violence?
In the case of immigrant women, something that comes to mind is having the Canadian government offer a program that interacts with women on one-to-one outside of the household on a weekly or monthly basis. I think it can also encourage speaking up. This way, the signs of gender violence can be defeated at an early stage. Education or something like a service offered by an addiction treatment center, help centers should be advertised more regularly on a social media and via pop-ups.
I think that raising awareness would be an effective approach to prevent it, because if women can recognize that these situations can just cease to exist, then the rate can gradually decrease. This way, women can learn that they don't have to stay in these relationships and that there are resources out there that can continue to help support them. And so just learning how to recognize the signs is like really important as well, because it can help prevent these scenarios before they become worse.
Is there anything you can do personally to help in the prevention of gender-based, family, and domestic violence?
We have been providing support at our temples and by looking for silent signals in our own community. We have also been providing spiritual consciousness teachings and that tell us that we are equal, that we are all supposed to help and protect the women in our society. Making aware that women can perform all life skills equally to our partners, if not better, providing they are given the same space, privileges, and training.
I think we can all just overall play a role in this, because with raising awareness comes a call for action as well. So women need accessible resources to help support them, as well as people need to support each other, so that when they're aware of these situations happening, so just learning all these signs like at school or like the workplace, as a third person, witnessing these situations, there's a moral responsibility to step in and help each other as a community. So like we just have to educate each other on the warning signs and preventative measures. So providing more information to like students about what domestic violence can look like and what to do. I think we all need to do something. This all begins with us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sai and Ms. Arlene.
For more information about resources in the community, please visit our website.